Hello and welcome back to another KCC video. I'm Rob and today we'll be jumping into Tales from Tech Support. Before we start, please hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you know when the next video goes live. Our first story today comes to us from 123 Anderson 4. I have an issue with the program, but I can't let you solve it because I am a jerk. Let's jump right in. A bit of context. Back in 2018, I used to work to a company which supplied service desk services to the national offices of a huge pharmaceutical. Our work was basically take the incoming calls from the client, the pharmaceutical office employees, solve them in our first level, and if not possible, route the issue to the second level, local IT teams, since our service desk team was remote. Cast, me, yours truly, OP. User, someone who thought they were too much than what they really were. L2 Bro, my friend on the Level 2 support team, a local team hired specifically for issues when there is an absolute need of someone physically touching the computers. On to the story. The day was going calm, suspiciously calm. I was already 3 hours in and had 0 calls. Until phone rings. Service desk, OP, how can I help you? This is absurd. I've been trying to talk to you guys for the last 2 hours and the line's always busy. The fact that theirs was my first call of the day prove this statement is a lie. I can't receive emails. My email client isn't working. Fix it. Sure, I just need your user ID first, please. I can't believe it. Every time you guys ask for my ID, don't you remember me? The fact that we receive calls from the whole country makes it clear that we don't remember each and every voice. Also, they never mentioned their name during this call as well. I'm user. My username is user ID. Okay, user, just give me a minute to check some things. Do you have network access? I have no idea. I can't receive emails. That's all I know. You got an error message on email client? What? No. Where did you get that from? Coworker told me on Instant Messenger that she sent me something that I need to see. Okay, that means they still have network. Understood, just give me a moment. I'll connect to your computer to check what could be going on. Do it fast. I remote into their computer and it's a huge mess as usual. Dozens of spreadsheets open at the same time, browser open with several tabs and, apparently, one of them playing music. Their company used to allow music, but due to events I have no idea about, this policy changed before I left the service desk. Basically, their computer was overworked. Among the other windows, I found the email client window frozen. I see. Your computer seems to be overworked and the email client froze. All we need to do is close the program and reopen it. I already tried that, moron. Surprised by being insulted during a recorded call. Oh, okay. In this case, we need to reboot the computer. Not happening. I'm sorry. You won't reboot my computer. I need to work. It'll take my time and I'm busy. You need your email working, correct? Yes. Have you tried using the webmail service? That thing's stupid. All my contacts are on email client. If the program won't close and the computer can't be rebooted, I can't solve the issue. Such incompetence. Get me your supervisor. In time, our service desk team had no supervisor in the sense of someone who could overrule something to get things done. The best we could do is escalate the issue to level 2, local IT teams. You want me to send the issue to the level 2 team so they can send someone to your desk? You thought of that by yourself or someone helped you reach that conclusion? Yes, I want someone here now. My eardrums still hurt just by remembering them shouting in my earpiece. I complied just to save the hearing on my right side. My left side is a bit bad due to previous non-work related injuries. Wrote a ticket for the level 2 team with notes of their behavior. Ticket description. User's email client froze and won't close. User won't allow a reboot. User agitated. Done, user. There's a ticket for you on level 2's queue. They'll get to you as soon as possible. They have 5 minutes. I'm sorry? No, you're not. I want someone here in the next 5 minutes or else I'll go straight to your boss. Joke's on them. My boss isn't even part of their company. I can't give you an estimate of when someone will be by your desk as I don't have access to the level 2's queue. They could be with you in minutes or take hours depending on what they have going on. You've been warned. 5 minutes. After that call, we got back to the tranquility of before. Had 2 more calls that day, but easy work with nothing worthy of a story here. The following day, I got a message from Level 2 Bro. Hey OP, why didn't you solve the issue with user yesterday? They demanded someone locally. I got to their computer and rebooted it, but they kept saying that they didn't have the time to waste waiting for us, that they could have rebooted the computer themselves, and even asked why client keeps us on their tab if we're this useless. They what? I crap you not. They're insane. You added this conversation on the ticket log, right? Of course. I covered my butt. You covered yours? The system records automatically all calls we receive. I hope this one gets randomly picked for revision. You don't know the worst part. After I finished rebooting, they logged in and opened the browser first, going to YouTube, checking personal emails, even a finance blog, before even trying to open email client. The chat went about us bad-mouthing user and hoping for them to be fired for any kind of crap they do in company time that's not work-related. To my surprise, I got an email later with an evaluation of my service from user. It's an automated email, yes, but it's about user's call, had their ticket number and their user ID, and in a field reserved for observations, they laid on me, saying I was rude and called them names, and even said they should jump off a bridge. I brought it to my supervisor's attention since he was the one responsible for our company's contact with client. He took the issue directly with HR, and that was the moment I found out that user, prior to my hiring, had similar issues with other people on service desk. The last I heard about user, they've been demoted to someone's assistant, and they've been put back into interpersonal training. I got out of that job weeks after this incident. This user just kept getting worse and worse as the story went on. I don't think they deserve to be demoted. I think they deserve to be let go. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your opinion in the comment section down below. Our next story comes to us from PanCubano159. The day I inadvertently got a service director to break a router. Let's jump right in. So I posted this in a comment on r/sysadmin, but felt like you folks over here could use a quick chuckle. I worked at an MSP a couple of years ago, and one of our clients was a Cadillac dealership that I managed. They had a director who was a sharp guy that turned into a bull if you pissed him off. One day, the network goes down and I can't reach anything. I can reach the firewall externally and can VPN in, but if it doesn't have a static IP, I can't talk to it. One endpoint manages to check into our software and I'm able to connect. Once I'm in, I can't reach any local resources except the internet. Come to find out, the endpoint is somehow on a completely different subnet. After some investigation and checking ARP tables against all switches, I managed to track down a rogue DHCP device plugged in on a random port in the service center. I call up the director to let him know, and the convo goes, "Yeah, I managed to track down the problem. There's some random router plugged in somewhere in the service center. Looks like it's a Linksys effing butthole. I think I know who that is. Don't hang up." Okay. At this point, I can hear him running in the background, doors being slammed open, more shuffling around until I hear the phone suddenly slam down and some grunting. Then I hear something plastic fall near the phone and the familiar sound of plastic exploding into several pieces. After all of that, no crap, he literally says, "Check it now." "Yeah, everything is coming back up. Did you find the router and unplug it?" "Yeah, I found it. It was, hang on. At this point, the culprit showed up and Richard saw him. "Hey, you, yeah, your router completely effed up the network and kicked everyone out. I found it and tried to disconnect it, but it was tangled up in other crap and I lost my patience. I slammed it to the ground while pulling it out and it broke. Sorry about that, and I'm not replacing it. Go talk to HR and they'll pay you back for it. Don't bring in another one." Never had another incident like that after. Something seems to be missing here for me. I mean, they got a "don't do it again" and then they paid for the thing? That would have been a firing offense in most places I've worked. Our next story comes to us from Vox Popsicle. Why do monitors keep breaking every Monday? Let's jump right in. Right after the Y2K non-event, I was working in a help desk for a fairly large company, 15,000 employees. The company had a surprisingly kind corporate culture, thus had pretty good morale. People were allowed to decorate their cubicles pretty much as they saw fit, with the obvious exceptions like offensive posters, etc. One employee in a prestigious department called on a Monday and told us that her monitor had failed. Let's call her Francesca. Flat screens were a lot more expensive back then, so nobody had multiple monitors. I grabbed a spare and was at her cubicle within 5 minutes. Her cube was like a greenhouse. She must have had 30 different potted plants in a modest cube. Flowers, spider plants, little bamboo. It would have driven me nuts to work in this crowded little grove, but it smelled like a clean forest after the rain, and she was obviously proud of it. The monitor was dead as disco, wouldn't even show me a power LED. I carefully moved 4 or 5 plants and swapped in the new one. Happy user, closed ticket. 1 week later, the ticket reopened on the next Monday morning. Statistically, it is certainly possible for a beat-up spare screen to fail, but it isn't likely. I grabbed a shiny new monitor, tested it at my desk, and installed it. As I swapped cables, I asked her what had happened. It just shut off. I didn't even touch it. 2 monitors failing at the same time on the same day of the week for one user. This is not coincidence. I longed for a previous job where we had a hardware guy who loved to dig into dead equipment and figure out the forensics. I verified that she didn't have a heater in her cube, power surge, thermal issues, that no other users had seen any issue or heard anything. I Googled the model of monitor that had failed to see if it had a bad rep. I talked to the rest of my team. Nothing suggested a reason. So next Monday, early, I was camped out in her cube with iced coffee and suspicion as my team. Francesca came in, asked if this monitor had failed too. I explained that I was here to make sure that it wouldn't. She was pleased with the level of attention on her issue. I watched her start up the PC, turn on the monitor, and head out for her own coffee. All good so far. The PC booted properly, loaded up the series of apps that she needed at about the normal rate. They connected to servers across the country, so boot up took 10 minutes or so from power on to ready for calls. She came back with coffee and a watering can. I looked at the 3 potted plants on the shelf above her monitor and stopped her. She'd been slightly overwatering those plants once a week. I don't know why it hadn't killed the monitor before this, but she didn't use a power strip, and apparently the main circuit breakers weren't sensitive enough. User educated, problem solved, ticket reclosed. Okay, I can understand a few plants in an office, but you don't need a whole jungle's worth. And if you're dumb enough to water it when it's on top of your monitors, well, then that's completely on you, and you should probably be made to pay for them too. Thank you to all 3 OPs for posting their stories in the Tales from Tech Support subreddit. They are linked in the description down below. Please go check them out. Check out one of these other videos, and if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for more daily Reddit stories.